One fateful night, under the dim glow of flickering lights and surrounded by the scent of fresh paint and sawdust, Danny Odello Timmis stood in the heart of her new country house, a dream she had long envisioned. As she worked tirelessly to transform the space into a warm, welcoming home, she felt a growing unease, an inexplicable chill that danced along her spine. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, Danny's heart raced. She felt as if she were being watched. Her instincts were right. Unbeknownst to her, her husband, Ted Timmis, was miles away at his clinic, where he was revered as a respected psychiatrist. Ted was consumed by his work, blissfully ignorant of the peril that had recently brushed against his wife's life. Earlier that evening, Olin Boole, a troubled former patient of Ted's, had come to see Danny. Olin, battling demons of his own, had sensed an ominous presence lurking near the house. Desperate and frantic, he had pleaded with Danny to stay vigilant, warning her of a stranger he believed was watching her. But Danny, feeling reassured by the tranquility of their rural retreat, brushed off Olin's concerns as mere paranoia. She didn't know that Olin's warnings were not just figments of his troubled mind. They were rooted in a terrifying truth causing her murder that night. A year passes, heavy with sorrow and unanswered questions. Danny's twin sister, Darcy Odello, a blind clairvoyant gifted with psychometric abilities, feels the haunting pull of her sister's spirit. One day, Ted Timmis steps into the shop, seeking the solace of distraction, though his heart bears the weight of hidden guilt. The moment he enters, Darcy feels a familiar presence, a connection forged by shared grief and memories of Danny. As they begin to talk, the conversation flows like a river, winding through old stories and shared laughter. But beneath the surface, a current of tension pulses. Darcy holds on to the only belonging of Olin Boole, recovered from the crime scene. Plans are made to meet again, but an unsettling aura lingers. Reached home, as Darcy begins to feel the eye, she finds something rather gruesome done to her twin sister, and sadly Olin was a mere well-wisher, not the actual murderer. On the other hand, the country house, now occupied by Ted and his new girlfriend, Yana, a pharmaceutical rep. Yana asks Ted to stay home as she feels Danny's ghost lurking around while he spends long nights away from the house at the clinic. She shows him pictures she took on Danny's camera, recovered from the storage room. Ted reassures her there's nothing and it's only in her head. Yana suggests that they both move back to city apartment she owns as she cannot spend another night alone in that house. Ted agrees, and as they were about to leave, Darcy arrives unexpectedly at the country house. Unbeknownst to them, a large crate containing a life-sized wooden mannequin has just arrived, an ominous addition to the already eerie atmosphere. As Ted leaves for his night shift, the atmosphere in the house shifts dramatically, tension thickening in the air like an impending storm. The door clicks shut behind him, and an unsettling silence envelops the space, amplifying the rustle of leaves outside and the distant hoot of an owl. Yana tries to leave the house and go to her city apartment, but she realizes she has lost the keys. Suddenly, Yana reaches for her purse, only to find that her car keys are missing. Panic bubbles up within her. "I swear I had them just a moment ago," she murmurs, searching her pockets frantically. As she rummages through her belongings, she feels the weight of the mannequin's gaze, cold and unyielding, upon her. Unable to find them, alone now with Darcy, Yana can't shake the feeling that something is profoundly off. It's as if the very walls of the house are holding their breath, waiting. The wooden mannequin that had recently arrived from Darcy's shop looms in the corner of the room, its lifeless form casting eerie shadows in the dim light. Yana had initially thought it merely a quirky decoration, but now it feels like a silent observer, its painted eyes tracking her movements with unsettling precision. "Are you okay?" Darcy asks, her voice gentle yet probing, sensing Yana's mounting discomfort. "Yeah, just a bit jumpy," Yana replies, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. She tries to shake off the feeling, but the tension remains, palpable and thick, as if the very air is charged with unspoken fears. Darcy, her blind eyes wide with intuition, senses a shift in the energy around them. "Something isn't right," she whispers, her voice barely above a murmur. Soon Darcy falls asleep. Yana goes up to call Ted and let him know about the events happened behind him. "Did you see that?" Yana gasps, backing away instinctively. The panic rises like a tide within her, and she fumbles her phone, the device slipping from her grasp. In a heart-stopping moment, it tumbles down the stairs from the upstairs landing, shattering upon impact. Curiosity drives Yana to examine the mannequin, and her heart races as she discovers disturbing objects hidden within. Photographs of Danny and Darcy, locks of hair, a tooth, and a vial of blood. Darcy gets up and asks her to put everything back where they belong. Yana stays calm and respects Darcy's request. After assembling the mannequin, Yana goes back to Here Room where she catches a glimpse of Danny's ghostly apparition. "Run," says Danny's ghost. Terror overwhelms Yana, and she desperately searches for her keys. In a stroke of luck, she finds them inside the crate that housed the mannequin, narrowly escaping the house's dark grasp. Upon Ted's return, he finds Darcy alone upstairs. The air crackles with tension as she confronts him, revealing the horrifying truth. She knows he orchestrated Danny's murder with the help of Ivan, who works at his clinic. She confesses, driven by vengeance, it was her who had killed Olin, believing him guilty, only to discover his innocence through a psychometric reading of his glass eye. It was Ted who had conspired with Ivan, a brutish orderly, to silence Danny forever. He calls his phone, a calculated move intended to lure Darcy into a trap he has set. He feigns innocence, hoping to distract her while he secures his alibi. When Darcy arrives upstairs, she is unaware of the danger lurking beneath her feet. Ted had secretly removed the trapdoor, a hidden passage that once served a practical purpose, but now becomes a sinister ploy. As Darcy steps into the room, the floor gives way, and she plummets into the darkness below. In the depths of the darkness, Darcy's instinct kicks in. Though momentarily disoriented, she taps into her psychic powers, summoning the strength of her bond with the wooden mannequin that had become a central figure in the house. Drawing on her emotions, her anger, her grief, her desire for justice, she animates the mannequin, channeling her will into it. The once lifeless figure awakens with a jolt, its wooden limbs moving with a purpose fueled by vengeance. As the mannequin lurches to life, it becomes a harbinger of retribution, stalking Ivan, the brutish orderly who had conspired with Ted. Yet, in her final moments, she finds solace in the knowledge that she has set in motion a reckoning for those who wronged her and her sister. Later, in the aftermath of the turmoil, Ted feels the weight of his actions pressing heavily on him. He is forced to commit Ivan to the hospital, his fear of exposure gnawing at him like a relentless beast. Knowing that Ivan could unravel the web of lies he has spun, Ted resorts to desperate measures. Within the confines of the psychiatric walls, he unleashes a violent cannibal, a monstrous inmate whose existence thrives on chaos, ensuring that Ivan's secrets, and his own, will remain buried forever. Yana, disturbed by his apathetic demeanor toward Danny and Darcy's deaths, can no longer bear to stay. She leaves him, her absence amplifying the solitude that has enveloped him. A small box arrives on Ted's doorstep, sent from Darcy's shop, a place he had once found refuge in. Inside lies a call bell, an object imbued with a cursed history that Darcy had warned him about. The bell, said to be haunted by the spirit of a bellhop who met a grisly end, carries a weight of foreboding that Ted chooses to ignore. In his defiance, he rings the bell, seeking solace in its chime, hoping for comfort amidst the storm brewing outside. But as he leans back, a false sense of peace washes over him. The spirit of the bellhop stands silently behind him, its gaze filled with a hunger for vengeance.